like taking a samurai sword and shoving it straight through, but what it leaves behind is not pain but pleasure. It is like...
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode. I'm Jeff.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Mary Jane.
And we are at Taps Brewery and Barrel Room in Tustin, California, here to do a preview of their brand new location. And if the outside has anything to say about it, it's going to be a really nice, fun time.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now, I am super excited. Guys, you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's have some beer. Welcome to Tustin, California. I'm Joe Manzella. I'm one of the owners. I have a sister that floats around. Welcome to the first week and the first Sunday of Taps Brewery and Barrel Room. Cheers. You are all gathered here today to get a real nice, intimate snapshot of food and our first ever food truck, which is turning out to be a lot of fun. And the production brewing side of the company after 18 years and going actually with a dedicated facility to produce beer at a voluminous level in a self-contained environment free of Chilean sea bass and scallops and servers crossing through the night, and really doing a lot of stuff in one roof. It has been a real challenge. So while we're here, I'm going to introduce the team. Because, as I always say in this business, I just pay the bills and walk around looking important, but the backbone, literally, of my company is my directors and my staff, and it's always been that way. So, over here, hiding in the back, we have Director of Operations, Brady Sherrard. You all know Brady, right? There's another director, he's really tall, he's over here, Thomas Hope, Director of Culinary. The guy in the truck, the funny sounding food, tastes really, really good, Romiel. Tasting room manager, Christy Cunningham. There's a beer side to this venture. There's a bearded guy. Where is he? There he is. Kyle Mance, Director of Brewing. And Harry, back over this way, are we getting busy? Okay, so the first question when you walked up and you saw this building and you're thinking, what in the world am I going into? What is this place? This is, as you've seen after many, many years, what happens in the brewing industry is we like to go into light industrial spaces, hollowed out, kind of big, high ceiling spaces that give us the flexibility to do things, kind of spread the wings, move forklifts around and drive. So it really started getting into light industrial spaces. Long story short, we started playing around with the idea of doing distribution at a high level, maybe about 5-6 years ago. Kyle, you can correct me. Taps Brea and Taps Corona actually played in the distribution game. Very little, right? Those breweries are dedicated for those spaces, those four walls. They are not meant in size to keg and ship out the back door to Tony's Darts Away in LA. But we did it. And we literally squeezed the hell out of everything to get kegs, and we couldn't do it. We did it for a little, we were successful at it. I think we got up into about 60 to 70 different pubs in Orange County, LA. And then the distributors wanted more and we couldn't. So we started playing around with We gotta get a bigger system. We gotta find a space. This is literally the 4th location. 3 of them fell out very late in the process. We actually found it ourselves. Kyle found it on a real estate search engine. And long story short, we made it. We got it done. And we're going to start brewing in here. Couple weeks, yeah. So we got some seismic stuff we've got to get done. But why are we doing this? Right, after so many years? That's probably the biggest question. Well, if you want to get into distribution and you want to sell beer, you can't really worry about guys coming in and starting small and doing things 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We've done 18 years of history. We've got medals all over the walls, I think 100 plus. If we're going to do it, now's the time to do it. I'm 51. I'm the youngest of the partners. I want to say my sister's age, 53. Huh, what? All right. So when you have the success, you have the relationships, you have the legacy, you have the history, and you have the tradition, and you've got the friendships and the partnerships and that, you go and you do it. And now's the time. All right. So where do we go from here? We're going to actually take this location, and it's going to take all of the restaurants and supply them with beer. Taps Corona as a brewery, that will be the pilot brewery, right? We're going to do different types of products or different experimental beers. Taps Brea will not brew. Taps Irvine does not have a brewery. Okay, and the Catch, our sister restaurant, obviously no brewery there. That's a multi-tap. We will supply those 4, plus this tap tower setup that you're standing next to. Kegs for distribution, bottles, cases, packs, large format for distribution and in-house consumption. And then you want to come in and buy a 5-gallon barrel and sell it to you. And then we'll be heading into Disney, Anaheim Convention Center, Albertsons, Vaughn's Pavilions, and we have a very, very, very important tasting with some executives at Costco in August for case and mixed case. So it's there. Kyle's just got to make the beer. And you'll get into that in a little bit in this tour.
So as my first beer of the day at Taps Brewery and Barrel Room, Amend This at 5% is probably one of the better Pilsners that I've had in quite a while, and probably the perfect first beer of the day. I mean, it's crisp, clean, refreshing, it's light, not particularly bitter, just a little bit on the tongue. Like, it's right in that sweet spot for Pilsners. I mean, I can't really think of anything bad to say about this beer. This is solid. As I was expecting from Taps, they're gonna make some really solid core styles of beer. They have consistency, they have the experience to do so, and now they have a really very nice fancy barrel house that you can explore. And I am happy that I'm expecting to see this a lot more and be able to get a lot more of it. That makes me happy. Cheers.
All right, guys, so my first beer up is called Juicy Lou. It's a 7.5% unfiltered IPA. It's kind of in that hazy family. And fantastic tropical aromas. It's pineapple on the nose, little peach. Okay, I'm digging in. Oh yeah, wow. This has got the light, crisp kind of mouthfeel and finish of your typical West Coast style IPA. It's not like that soft, pillowy, kind of silky mouthfeel that you get from a hazy beer. But the flavors that you get out of this is definitely in that territory. It's got fantastic tropical notes. Let me just say, this is a good way to get over a hangover.
So this is their Bourbon Barrel Aged Doppelbock, simply called Bourbon Barrel Aged Doppelbock, at 10%. So of course, being that it's a Doppelbock and it's barrel aged, here I am. So, It's a big boy.
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy. So you definitely get the sense that you are not drinking a sessionable beer. That being said, it's not because it's boozy. It smells more boozy than it actually tastes. You're tasting a lot of like dark fruit, dark sugar kind of sweetness, almost like a Belgian quad, but not quite the same finish. This finish is, I would say, maybe a little smoother, sweeter than some Belgian quads. That's probably because there's bourbon in it, as opposed to like a malt or hop finish. This has a really nice, just like dark plum color. I love it. Zero head, but I mean, I'm not really looking for that in this kind of beer, so not a problem for me. I appreciate that it's barrel aged and only 10% and not like 12 or 14. It could definitely have been higher. But this is nice. It's quite drinkable for being a bourbon barreled outlaw. I will say that. That's probably the most surprising I'm getting off of it. Yeah, that being said, this will hit you though. Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna feel it.
So today Taps is not just serving beer, they're also sharing some of the food from their food truck outside. And this little thing I got here is called the Hippie Burger. And it's basically a take on your classic burger, just smaller and looks really, really bomb. They told me to pair it with this beer, and the beer I'm going to be drinking is the Hefeweizen. It's 5.3%. It's a Bavarian style hef, so I'm sure it's going to be delicious. I was told by one of the bartenders here this is her favorite out of the list, so I'm excited to try it. Let's dig in. Cheers. On a warm summer day like this, that beer just hits the spot. Beautiful notes of banana and clove. It's not overpowering. It's not a lot weighing down on your palate. It's just light, crisp, refreshing. Just drinks real easy. And you know what? We'll take a bite of the burger now. So, I know why they call it the Hippie Burger. Right? Hippie Burger, yeah. This isn't using meat in the patty at all. It's like a veggie patty. It's really, really good. I'm a carnivore, so I do wish it was meat. But for somebody who's vegetarian, this is going to be a really great option for him here at Taps. It's definitely got a lot of flavor to it. But I'm going to finish the beer because I like how this tastes a whole lot better. Alright, so the next beer up is a grapefruit IPA. It's called Grapefruit IPA. It's 7.1%. I saw this on the list, and to be honest with you, there's a particular grapefruit IPA that was one of the catalysts for getting me into craft beer. Unfortunately, that brewery sold out. So now any chance I have to find a grapefruit IPA that can take it over, I jump at the chance. So let's see how Taps does with it. Here we go. Cheers. Wow. Man, on the nose, you're getting just sweet, ripe grapefruit. I mean, this is taking me right to a grapefruit tree, chopping it open with a samurai sword, and just digging in with the nose. It is really, really amazing when it comes to the aroma. The flavor is awesome as well. It's actually lighter than what I expected. 7.1%, I expected quite a hot bite and maybe a little bit heavier on the malts. This is actually another one of those just really light, drinkable, refreshing beers, which I'm totally okay with because right now I'm nursing a hangover. The grapefruit flavor is incredible. It's that sweet, juicy grapefruit. Right at the very end, the hops really cater well towards that grapefruit flavor. You're getting the pithiness from the grapefruit and the bitterness from the hops. Finishes on your palate nice and clean and leaves you with a little bit of that hop residue. This is an all-day kind of beer for me. I literally drink this all day and then probably pass out.
Right, so again, as I stated inside, it's a centralization of the company's brewing for the restaurants, and then an expanded commitment to distribution, both in bottle and in keg form. And then also one thing I did not touch on is consolidating our barrel aging program, which has had tremendous success, as you know, with Remy's Pappy. You know, that beer fetching for $300 a bottle on eBay and stuff. So that is going to all be here in a safe, protected environment, probably 3 to 4 high, about 350 barrels, whiskey barrels that we have repurposed from everybody's from Heaven's Hill to Makers to Woodford, Happy Van Winkle, Buffalo Trace, Four Roses, everybody. So putting styles like porters and stouts in there, introducing different things into them, laying them on their sides for 9 to 12 months to rest, and then bottling them in large format and on tap here in the tasting room. So that'll be inside here in the barrel room. Probably, I can't assume, but this is probably the largest refrigerator anybody has seen in this room. Yeah, raise your hand.
Wow.
Right? So obviously when you make beer, it has to come off of that process and immediately into refrigeration, bottles and kegs. So this, when it got installed, was a gigantic white box, this color. And I was standing here when it got put in, and I'm like, holy cow, that's a perfect billboard to like do something with. And
God bless America.
yeah, God, so I'm a big flag guy. I have flags all over. I'm in my house. You see Taps Irvine, there's a hand-painted flag on the wall there. There's one in Taps Brea, there was one in Lily's. Hugely patriotic. I never served in the military. My father was in Korea. I have a profound regard and love for the United States military men and women. That's why you see the badge logo with the sergeant stripe. That's actually a real subtle nod to my appreciation of history. It has nothing to really do with the name Taps. Taps actually refers to the tap handles, not the military. But it played on it when I was driving down the 57 in 1996, and I went, oh, and I almost crashed my car going, I found the name.
Oh, that's funny.
So we did all this. This is literally where we've been, where we're going. That is not done by me. That was done by Brennan and by John Chiusano and Kyle Mans to come up with a mission statement. And I said, I write them a lot. I've written 100 of them. I'm not writing this one. You guys go. Nod to the past, right? And we are going to push the limits.
No, that's not going to be refrigerated, but there is air conditioning in there, so it's going to be like temperature controlled. So there's well, you can. So there's 2 different methods that you can do. You can either do it warm, you can do it cold. We're going to be playing with inside the cooler actually. So lagers take 6 to 8 weeks to ferment, but you lager it in like those tanks usually. But we're going to play with actually putting them in barrels and putting it in the cooler. So lagering inside of barrels instead of lagering inside of the tanks. Gonna get some different kind of flavors and just honestly have fun with it. That's mostly what all this barrel is. It's just like experimentation. What do we want to do? What sounds fun?
Head in. You don't have to jump in here, but you can kind of just see the size of it real quick. So this is just feeding the tap room in here.
God.
And then all that is right along the So when this got done, no, this was never intended to be like the Instagram wall where, you know, you always see it, you go to Vegas and there's like these funny signs and everyone, but it actually, that's what it's become. Everyone, yeah, guests will actually, if they can actually get that door open, they run in here and take pictures or something. We started locking the door. All right, so grain handling, right? So we're all used to big, huge silos, right, that stick up and, oh, it's a brewery, look, they have a grain silo. Right, so we have one in Corona and we have one in Brea, and both of them got infested with a little weevil.
Well, I mean,
Carnivorous.
we don't even really need a silo here.
Yeah.
We use too many different base malts.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of a grain silo is you have one type of malt,
Yeah.
and you brew your beers all the time, and it's the same one. Well, we brew so many different styles, whether it's lagers or IPAs or styles. We want variability. So this really gives us the variability. So we can order in like 2,000-pound sacks, and that way we can be like, all right, this is enough for one brew, and then it's like we don't have to empty a whole silo and plan it like accordingly. We can just order one for a brew. So it just gives us the freedom to be who we are, taps, and brew whatever we
You
want to
use
brew.
it all
Yeah,
first
exactly.
shot.
You
So
use
yeah,
it
so
all pretty
nothing's
much in one.
sitting, and
Right.
when you put 40,000 pounds of pale grain in a silo, it sits for how many weeks and months?
Right.
A lot.
This is our water skid. So this is reverse osmosis. Water is a huge part of beer making. I mean, what, beer is 90% water, or not, up to 95% water. So we want the ability to control our water. Different types of beers require different types of water, and that's the easiest way to do it is either just like strip it all out and add in the salts that we need to, or blend back with city water, and it just gives us the ability to do whatever we want. If we want to do a Pilsner, boom, we can just fill up one of our hot water or cold water tanks with whatever we need and be ready for the grain tomorrow. So it gives us the ability to, again, same thing with the super sacks, is we have the ability to choose whatever grain we want. Now we can choose whatever water profile we want. And so it allows us to do whatever we need. We have 8 60-barrel fermenters here, and we have that whole empty space back there. There's room for about 12 more tanks. And we don't know what size they could be. They could be more 60s, they could be 90s, they could be 120s. We don't know. We're going to see what we need. So there's a lot of
Remember my
space for-
conversation earlier about ceiling height?
Right.
Yep. So you walk into space and you go, holy cow, this is really, really high. Well, look at how much of that height we already used.
Right.
Right? So just the tops of these is one thing, but look above them. Right? Just your grain handling alone, you're really thrusting right up to the top of that. So.
All the glycol and all that stuff. It's, Space runs out real quick.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, this place is huge. It's like, come back.
You need all that ceiling height?
Yes, we do.
So what are these two big things?
So these are basically just water. This is hot water and cold water. That's cold water and hot water. Hot water is like the lifeblood of a brewery. If you don't have hot water, you can't clean anything, you can't match in, you can't really do anything. So we have a high pressure steam boiler back there that's going to supply heat to not only that tank, but the first 3 tanks here. So let's continue from where we left off with the grain. So all the grain is up here, and now I'm ready to brew. So the first tank is what's called the mash tun. So basically, mash tun is basically a vessel to take hot water and grain. So that's how you start the whole brewing process. So all the grain that we use is all malted barley. So it's all been germinated. It's all been basically barley is a seed, and so when you germinate it, it gets ready to go and wants to make a big barley plant. So we stop that, and now we use all those enzymes enzymes and starches that would be used to grow a plant, but we use that to make sugar water. So we use, so what's actually really cool about this is that this is steam heated as well. So yeah, most breweries, you just take hot water and grain, you throw it in there, and you're all right, we're good to go. That's it. Now we have the ability to start at whatever temperature we want and then step it up. So as you step up, you change a lot of the enzymes that you want. You can change your mouthfeel. You can change the foam head retention. You can add more clove flavor for your Hefeweizens. There's a multitude of different things you can do. And alongside that, you can do what's called decoction mashes. That's traditional German brewing. So we can take all the grains and then boil it and then move it back and forth between the tanks and mimic the traditional German brewing technique. So not only do we have the water, so we can recreate the water, we can recreate the brewing process as well. And so we can choose like German grown malt, we can do German brewing processes, and ideally make a very German tasting beer. So yeah, so that's the mash mixer. Everything will be mixed up in there, and then it'll be sent over to the lauter tun. In the lauter tun, all the grain husks, we use that as a filter basically. So you send everything over to there, you recirculate everything, get it so it's nice and clear, and then we'll send it over to the boil kettle. In the boil kettle, so while you're in the lauter tun, you basically want to rinse out all the sugars. So you're just going to rinse with hot water, send it over to the boil kettle. So once it's in the boil kettle, that's when you have all your hop additions. And so with the ability to do all the different malts and all that stuff, hops, I mean, you can pretty much get any sort of hop you want. So we can use traditional German stuff, we can do American stuff, and so yeah. The boil kettle is where all the hops are added. Hops are bitterness for beer. So the longer you boil it, the more bitterness it adds. The less you boil it, the more aroma you get, and we'll be able to play with any type of boil length and all that stuff. Yeah, so let's see. After that, it goes into the whirlpool. Everything is basically spun like. If you ever taken like a cup of tea and you swirl it up and you see your like tea leaves kind of pull it to the center. It's the same idea. Since we added all those hops, we have any proteins that settle out. We want all that to basically not be in the beer. We don't want to send that into the fermenter. So we do that. Then it goes
Paper
through.
filter now. just to give you an idea of the change in volume and scope. So tap spray and Corona,
Right.
It's done is pushed through like an accordion.
Right. It's essentially an accordion with a bunch of sheets in it that have that filter out. Well, that's after fermentation. But yeah, so we'll cool it down, send it into a fermenter, add the yeast, and let it do whatever it's going to do. Because let's be real, brewers don't make beer. Yeast makes beer. We just make sugar water to make whatever they make all the alcohol and CO2 and everything. Yeah, so it'll be in these fermenters for anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks, depending on if it's an ale or lager, anything like that. So instead of like the old school filter that we use at Brea and Corona, we have a centrifuge. So this will allow us to save more beer, get knocked down and not have as much dissolved oxygen, and so we'll get clear beer and it'll be reusable, so we don't have to like change out the plates and all that.
All right, so the next beer up is called Haya. It's a sake pilsner at 5%. I don't think I've ever had sake in a beer before, but I have had it with beer before. So I'm hoping this reminds me a little bit of a sake bomb. Back in my college days, I used to go to the local sushi spot and share a lot of sake bombs with my college buddies. So, you know me and memories, I love that. So here we go, cheers. Yep. This just tastes like a really crisp, really sweet sake bomb. Man. Oh my god, that's good. It definitely blends really well together. Normally when I do a sake bomb, it's with hot sake, so the beer ends up being kind of warm. This is ice cold, obviously, because the sake was brewed with the beer. Oh, it's so refreshing. Like, all I want now is a bunch of sushi rolls in front of me and to be drinking this beer. This is exquisite. I love experimental styles. This really kicks ass.
So I think this beer is pretty appropriately named a Czech Pilsner named Bohemian Tapsody, which I love for a number of reasons. It's also very timely because there's about to be a Queen movie out, which I can't wait to go watch. Cheers to that, and to really good music. Yeah, I'm really glad that Taps has so many sessionable beers here, and that they still do solid German-style beers like a Czech Pils. You know, it's a good region, and you can just smell the grain in that. Like, as soon as you bring it up to your nose, that's what you're getting. You know, as much as I love smelling hops, sometimes smelling good quality grain, it goes a long way, and it tickles my beer nerd inside me. Yeah, and that's a good Czech Pils. I mean, it's very malt forward, you know? Really crisp. California has been just heating up this past week. I feel like we complain about that a lot on this channel. Go figure, it is what it is. But these are the kind of beers that I want to drink with the heat, you know? It's as much as I like that barrel-aged Doppelbock earlier, yeah, the tastier was the max amount I could possibly do. And as it's heating up, as the day gets later into the day, the sun starts rising, yeah, I'm looking for stuff like this. There's no way I'm going to do a full pour on the other one. Yeah, 5.8%. Not really looking for anything much higher than that right now. Not looking for anything heavier than this. Cheers.
Alright, so the last beer I'm going to review today is an Imperial Porter. It's called Velvet Hog. 7.5%. You know, we've been trying a lot of real sessionable beers today, aside from that Doppelbock. Holy crap. But, you know, I wanted to showcase some of the dark beers here at Tap, so I figured I'd give this a pour and see how it tastes. So, there we go. Nice roasted malts, a little bit of sweet chocolate, a little bit of bitterness on there. Almost got like a coffee note to it too. Oh yeah, that's good. Wow. Man.
I want to try.
The malts like legit coat your palate. It is fan-frickin-tastic. Wow, it's literally still just sitting on my tongue. 7.5%, definitely higher in the ABV realm, but this still has great drinkability. Now mind you, as we've said earlier, it's hot as balls today. This probably is not my beer that I would want to sit out in the sun and drink, but come winter time, come Christmas time, this is like a let's go to Taps just so we can have this beer right here. Wow. This is one that you can actually sip on for a long time, and you don't feel like weighed down at all. I don't know how to explain it. This is not a really heavy beer, but it's got things about it that are reminiscent of a heavy beer. Yeah, hella good, man.
Yeah, so porters typically end up being lighter than stouts, but as soon as I drank this, I was like, wow, this mouthfeel is just amazing.
Yeah.
It's really good. I mean, it's such a weird thin line between porter and stout. I honestly, blindfolded, I probably would have just called it stout. But that's
I mean, it's definitely got the sweetness of a stout for me.
Yeah,
like a porter's more smoky, more roasty. Like that's normally what I get out of a porter over a stout. Stout's more sweet, more chocolatey. This is definitely on the sweeter side, but you still have the roasted, smoky notes in there as well.
Yeah, this is not like a dick or anything on this. This is a great beer. I thought I had mine picked out for my favorite that I should recommend. Now I'm kind of conflicted. We'll see what I choose in the end, though.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about our favorite beers that's coming up next. All right, everybody. Jacob and I have tried just about all the beers here at Taps, and it's time to tell you which ones our favorites were. So, Jacob, do you want to go ahead and start?
Sure. It was kind of a tough call for me because I really enjoyed amending this. It was my first beer of the day, American Pilsner. Solid beer. I'm definitely going to give it a shout out because it was just that solid. Especially in heat, it's a really good thing to do. The grapefruit IPA also standout for sure. But what ended up leaving a lasting impression was damn porter. It was just smooth and just yeah. I can't wait for winter for a number of reasons. But the beer is one of them. It's just going to be that much more enjoyable to have on a cold day outside with the fire going. You know, I want that already. Come on.
You know what? I didn't mention this before, but this porter would be awesome if they put it in barrels. It's already got a killer mouthfeel, so you throw it in like a bourbon barrel or a rum barrel, and you know, come a year from now, it would just be so tasty.
So that being said, I would probably prefer this not in a barrel. But yeah, of all the things. But
this is Jacob talking, by the way.
Hey, yeah. That being said, I would kind of like to see some like interesting
variants,
like coffee treatments or like I don't know if I want to spice. I almost want to say no. I really don't want too much stuff done with this. I kind of like it as is. Maybe just oak aged, not barrel aged in any kind of like liquor, but just oak aged might be kind of a fun thing to do.
This is so weird. I'm saying I want a bourbon barrel aged or whiskey barrel aged or rum barrel aged, and Jacob's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of coffee or just oak aged would be really cool for this beer, but I don't want much done to it.
It really is good on its own as it is right now. That mouthfeel is phenomenal. First off, I gotta thank Mary Jane. She was the one who invited us out today. She's literally right on the other side of the camera, looking all happy because she got a beer in her hand. We got invited to this media event. Taps literally just opened about a week ago. So this was a private blocked off event. As you can probably see, there's a shitload of people here now because it's open to the public. But man, talk about a great experience. The owners, the people that work here, the chefs that are making the food, I mean, everybody's just incredible, have been really, really welcoming. And you know, at the end of the day, it really matters how the beer is. I mean, I'm gonna be really honest, if the beer was not great, I wouldn't be that excited about it. But the best part is their beer is phenomenal. I mean, come on, they've been a brewery since what, 1999, I believe? So it's been almost 20 years that they've been a brewery, and this is finally them branching off from being a restaurant and brewery. They are now like this facility right here is just a brewery. They do serve food, but you know, still a brewery. But the beers are amazing, guys. I mean, that porter, incredible. Haya, the sake pilsner that I had, man, that just takes me back to my college days doing sake bombs at the sushi bar, man. Wow, just incredible. They had that unfiltered IPA, Juicy Lou. Man, great tropical flavors. It was kind of like a hybrid mix between West and East Coast. Great. But to be honest with you, on a hot summer day, on a sunny day like today, I know you can't really see it, but I'm definitely sweating right now, and I'm still nursing that hangover. Out of all the beers that I had today, there's just one that really called to me, and that was the Grapefruit IPA. It's just got a beautiful blend of bitterness and that great grapefruit flavor. It tastes like summer in a glass. I don't know how else to tell you.
Alright guys, I hate doing this. I already said I had a favorite beer. I made my suggestions. My friend Chris showed up afterwards. Perhaps you follow him at Brewfiend on Instagram. Brew good friend, great tasting beer, and he suggested that I try Silent Warrior, which is their American Strong Ale. It's been aged in bourbon barrels.
Gold medal winning.
God damn it, it's definitely my favorite beer from here. I really thought I had it going. I was like, oh yeah, definitely gonna be the sessionable things. Nope, the 11% beer.
Trust me, I'm a professional.
11.5, sorry. So Chris, why don't you kind of tell us what you think of it, and maybe that'll help explain why I have to call it my favorite.
This beer is like an all-out assault on your palate. Basically, it's like taking a samurai sword and shoving it straight through, but what it leaves behind is not pain but pleasure. It's like silk, basically. It's the best way I can describe it.
That sounds more like a geisha, but yes. Like a very aggressive.
Starts like a samurai, ends like a geisha. Silent warrior.
Don't
She's
we all?
like deadly assassin.
Yeah, this is just a fantastic beer. Strong ales are definitely not as popular as barrel-aged stouts, but I definitely encourage you to try them because they're really good beer. And whatever bourbon barrels they got for this, I don't know what specific brand of bourbon, but it's damn good.
I want one.
Yeah, I want one in my home just to have. Yeah, Silent Warrior, you guys killed it, Taps, and I hope you keep making this again. I hope this is not just a little one-year special event. I hope it's a regular annual thing, because I want bottles of this in my cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job.
So do you.
Cheers.
All right, guys, so that's gonna do it here at Taps Brewery in Tustin, California. Thank you so much, Joe, Michelle, Brennan, and Kyle. We had a great time. We loved your hospitality, and holy shit, were the beers amazing. Now, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up. Click that bell so you get alerts every time the new episodes come out. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We love this support. It helps us a lot. And to be honest with you, I mean, we make this for you, so, you know, help us out. So until next time, I'm Jeff.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Mary Jane.
And we'll see you again on Let's Have Some Beer. Cheers.